Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the wonderful world of Similarweb. My name is KB, and I'll be walking you through how to set up and make the most out of your Similarweb account. This session is designed for new and returning users of the starter and professional packages and anyone who's on trial. So if you don't see all the features that we are discussing today, do not worry. Just make sure to upgrade your account or go to your account subscription page, and you'll be able to modify those settings. By the end of the session, you should have all the basic tools to see immediate value from Similarweb. So let's get started. Um, I will mention this as well. So my name is KB. I'm also here joined by Catherine, who's going to be answering all of your questions today as well. I've been with Similarweb for about 4.5 years as well. So I've been in the world of marketing for a good chunk of time, mostly working with PPC. And just to make sure you know I'm a real person behind the screen as well, I like to mention a little hobby that I have here, which is I love to fly my kite in my spare time, especially now that the weather is looking great. And then also Catherine will be here. You can make sure you just access it within the Q&A session. So if you do want to revisit this at a later time, we will have a recording for you. So 2 humans here to help you out. We have 2 major goals for today. We are going to be setting up the Similarweb platform and running your first competitive analysis. So as you can all see on this slide, we're going to be doing some live creation together. So it'd be best if you open your Similarweb account and navigate alongside me. I'm someone who learns as I do, so I always recommend that. Practice always makes perfect. Um, as well as I'm going to be recommending that you save your Similarweb homepage as a bookmark for easier access. It's just one of my #1 hack to get started. I know everyone has a bunch of different tools they use, so having Similarweb there for you will be great. It's also my most used bookmark, so it's always good just to have on standby. So we're going to be doing the setting up your projects and competitive report. We're going to be customizing your homepage to make it super easy for you to start your journey. We're going to be talking about connecting your Google Analytics as well. And then we're going to be going into more of an analysis side. So we're going to be analyzing traffic with website analysis. We're going to be exploring your marketing channels and your keyword data to make sure you're staying on top of trends. And again, just making sure we're always making Similarweb easy for you to go back to it, setting up your dashboard and showing how to export data. A couple of housekeeping things as well. I'm a huge questioner. I love making sure that I understand what's going on, making sure I stay interactive. So make sure you use that Q&A function. Catherine is here on standby. Make sure that you navigate with me as you listen. Practice makes perfect. Bookmark your homepage. The recording will be sent out. So if you're someone who's more of a visual learner, do not worry. You can sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And also make sure to stay after the session to ask any questions with our team, as well as do a quick poll at the very end as well. So let's get into some of the nerdy stuff here. Nerd out with me a little bit. So I always like to make sure we talk about how we collect our data and how we're able to show you the amazing insights that we have. So we have 4 pillars to our data methodology. We have our contributory network. It's a collection of anonymous consumer audience data that we collect from our own consumer products all over the world. And we supplement it with partnerships to make this data even more robust, even larger. And then we also have publicly available data. So think about things like SERP features. And whenever you search something, there's a bunch of stuff that clutters the screen. We're able to go in and publicly look at that data and bring it into our platform, again, to make it even larger of a data set. But last but not least, it's our secret sauce. We have direct measurement. We have businesses all over the world connect their Google Analytics to ours to act as more of like a control group in a way and help us stay directionally accurate over time. I'll show you how to connect yours in just a moment, but it's also great to see your actuals compared to our estimations as well. And also, we all know, especially if you're at a larger company, it's hard sometimes to find the admin and see what and be able to get control of your actuals. So if it's connected to Similarweb, we make it so easy. It's just going to be there waiting for you. So as a summary, there are thousands of data points we use to show your estimations. The best part is we aren't cookie based. So don't worry about that, guys. We are here. We are not cookie based. We have our own contributory network that we own as well to make sure that we're staying robust. All right. So without further ado, no more teasing, let's just go into the Similarweb platform. So when you first log into Similarweb, you're gonna see a screen that looks like this. We have a sidebar of some amazing features. So, and it's also condensed into three separate sections. At the very top, we have our little reporting interface. So that's where you can start at your homepage. I'm going to show you how to create your own dashboards for easy access, as well as our trackers. Next but not least, we have our website research. Think of this as putting on your own detective hat. This is where we can go in and we can say, all right, we want to run our own analysis today. Sure, we have our homepage, we have our dashboard, but if something comes up and we want to look at a new competitor, let's go here. I call these the bread and butter of what Similarweb does because it is where our core functionality lives. But the homepage is such a great launching off point to being able to run your first competitive analysis with our platform. So in just a couple of seconds, you can activate your first project, is what we like to call them, with your main competitive set. It's as simple as clicking into the homepage to get this all set up and ready to go. Now, you're going to notice this about me. I love talking luggage. Probably every single luggage company fears me at this point because I've been trying to buy a piece of luggage for years, but I'm just one of those people who I have a hard time buying something that's a little more on the expensive side. So we're going to use luggage as an example today to get started. So let's go ahead here. I'm going to act as Samsonite. I love the Samsonite brand, so we're going to call ourselves Samsonite today. And let's go ahead and add a couple of our competitors in here. We can add up to 10 domains at one time, which is amazing. So I'm going to do Away Travel. I'm going to do Monos because they're a lot of fun. Calpac. As you see here, there's a bunch of other players we can choose from already. But if there's someone that we don't see here, all we have to do is just go in here, type it on in. I'm going to add base in here just because they're also a fun little brand that I like to go in and look at. And I'm going to click on finish. And I'm going to call this, sure, I'll just call it Samsonite.com. Did anyone time me there? I think it took me less than 30 seconds to create my first report. And what's great about this is there's suddenly a bunch of insights we can find at the very, very beginning. So at the very top, you'll see you have your option of connecting your first party data with ours. I'm going to discuss this in just a moment, but let's talk more about the insights that we already have here because I'm getting excited and I just want to dive in. Um, we can see this on a weekly or a monthly basis. So I'm going to toggle back and forth as we go. And what's best is that this also updates pretty frequently. We have it on a weekly basis. This is all the way up until the 20th of April. This is live real time data. And we can really understand at the very beginning who's taking the majority of the traffic share pie. So again, if I'm Samsonite, I want to take a look at this in a couple of different ways. Maybe I want to see more recently, am I starting to increase more of my traffic share compared to others? Is there someone who's increasing way more than I am? Am I leading in this market? And if not, what can I do using Similarweb to gather that data to figure out what can I do next to try and get ahead? So I think I'm letting the curiosity get the best of me. I am seeing what is happening here, and I'm noticing week over week there's a little bit of a change for Samsonite, a little bit more for away travel. Okay, and more of, we can see that we like green, green is good. Let's take a look at this monthly as well. Okay, something's going on here. I'm noticing that actually, in terms of market share, I'm actually decreasing on a month over month basis, while there's a lot of other green here from the different competitors. I think it's time we look at the full report to see what is going on. All right, so we're just at the beginning of the insights that Similarweb is able to provide. Remember, this is what we were seeing on the previous screen. So Samsonite is also declining month over month as well as year over year. I see that there's other players though that are taking more of that advantage. Like Base is a really great example of this. So I would say this, if we're not seeing the same traffic trends as our competition, what are they doing different? And where do I have the advantage as well? So we do pepper in not just visitation data, which you can see over time, like who's growing, and especially compared to the entirety of the competitive set, but also more of this audience reach data as well. So maybe it's that we're not able to really gather or maybe bring in all of the entirety of the luggage competitors out there to our sites. And maybe we need to diagnose this even further to figure out what is going on. Now, I'll mention this, especially because are seeing a decline in terms of traffic share coming to our site. Like we're not getting as big of the pie as we would like. But I'm gonna ask this question, everyone think about it for a second. Do we think website visits always equal more conversions? Sure, we like that pool of people coming to us, but as someone who was from the PPC world, the paid search world in the past, I know that's not always the case. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my engagement metrics as well. And sure, we've seen a little bit of a dip in visit duration, but hold on. I'm seeing, a little bit of a, better bounce rate as well. I'm kind of in the middle of the pack here in terms of this. So even though it's a slight, I say increase, even though we're declining in bounce rate, which is what we like. We like to have a lower bounce rate, which means that people who are coming to our site aren't just leaving after visiting one page. They're actually having a more of a thorough experience. We like to see that. Oh, we're also increasing in pages per visit. Okay, so we're seeing that little bit of an uptick as well. Also, page views, amazing. So, at the end of the day, we can't just look at visits. Even though visits are king, we like to see people coming to our site. We also want to make sure we're having quality traffic, which is why I say if we're noticing that there's one player who's increasing exponentially all of that traffic to their site, make sure you come in as the devil's advocate and see, well, are they actually sticking? Like, is this traffic sticky? Is it good traffic? And we can also use Similarweb to see, well, if people are coming in, especially through search, what are they even typing in? Is it branded traffic coming to their site? Or is it people looking for just luggage and they need a little bit more hand holding? And that leads me to the back to the homepage for a second to kind of talk about the other side of this report. Because again, we love to see traffic. We're always talking about traffic to the site, but we probably also want to be able to understand what topics people are caring about. And within these topics, am I the one conquering more of this share? Is there a specific theme I need to focus on even further? So I can create my topics very quickly within this specific area. I can look at backpacks and carry on and suitcases. Like there's that whole suitcase versus luggage debate. I can add these all at once to make sure I'm also staying on top of what is currently hot within the market. I'm going to add backpacks in there because I'm just curious about this as well. And by doing that, we are now monitoring all of the trends like these around these like larger themes to see, well, are we increasing our share of voice for this specific term? And if we're not, you can see suitcase, it's declining, at least Samsonite's share of voice is declining. Hmm, maybe I have to go and investigate this a little bit further. So it's just a way for us to almost like elevate this even further for us. We can take a look at it and have a deeper dive if we'd like to as well. It takes us to a different area of the platform that helps us understand this even further. So it's a really great jumping off point to be able to understand in terms of this whole suitcase theme that we built almost immediately within our homepage, who is getting more of that traffic share over time for it. All right, so we have just done something super amazing. We have set up two huge reports that have amazing insights almost immediately. So let me mention this. Just because you're going to have so much data at your fingertips, there's this little alerts button here in the top right. So I always like to imagine that everyone here has 10 minutes every day to go into the platform. Of course, like we can always carve out 10 minutes. But I know we're all super busy people. Every day can have a new adventure for us. So why not somewhere I've just have them do the work for you? We built the report, click on the alerts. You can actually go in and subscribe to these as well, but we also give like a condensed version of what these look like to make sure that you're staying on top of it, even if there is a day delay since you've been able to go into the platform. So it's a highlight reel of all the competitors as well as certain search alerts as well. Crazy, right? We're able to see that Away Travel has recently highlighted new product listings. Incredible. So now we can go in and see, well, what were these product listings? And it'll take you into the platform at ease. Super easy, right? Click on the alerts, subscribe to them. You'll get an email as well. It's just a really great way for you to set these up and have it even more at your fingertips without even having to log in. All right, let's talk about this connecting the first party data. Now that we have the homepage generated, We just all we have to do now is add the secret sauce. Remember that important pillar of our data methodology, the one that helps us stay directionally accurate over time and also gives you your visibility of your actuals in here? Well, we have a way to make it happen. It's right here, and there's something in it for you. Like I said, if someone has used Google Analytics in the past, it can be analysis paralysis right from the beginning. There's so much going on. Google's alerting you on certain things, asking you to modify as well. But when you integrate your GA with our platform, we give a really condensed version, a nice overview. It's clean of your actuals so you can compare them side by side. It's all of your mother metrics as well: total visits, visit duration, bounce rate, pages per visit. It really just helps you take your competitive analysis to the next level. And by doing that, by setting up your competitive set, your topics, your alerts, as well as activating your first party data, congratulations. That means you have a complete homepage set up. And we're very proud of you because this is one way to get the ball rolling, but we're just getting started. We have so much more we can do. Now, you might be saying, okay, KB, you've showed us a lot of data, especially around traffic dips, ups and downs. But you might be saying, what do I do with this? What is causing these trends as well? So, especially when we're seeing something like this, that month over month, we're seeing a decline in Samsonite's traffic share. So they're starting to lose out on that piece of the pie. Well, we need to now grab these interesting metrics and turn them into insights, which then turns them into actions. So we're putting our detective hats on, everyone. And I'm going to show you my go-to workflow of using Similarweb to get those answers and get those actions. And that's where we're going to dive away from the homepage. So we're going to go into that website analysis part, that bread and butter of what I mentioned before. So I'm going to click into here. Now, this is where we start to ask ourselves, what are the marketing channels causing growth? What are the specific strategies within each channel? What should we do to see this growth? And if you popped in that Samsonite, like within your project, we were looking at Samsonite and Base Travel and all those other competitors at the very beginning. As long as you put those sites into your project, all you have to do now is go in here and you can search for the exact same sites. So I'm going to do Samsonite, and then we just go ahead and compare. So I'm going to do the away travels. I'm going to do the monos. I'm going to do the CalPack. I'm going to add base in there as well because I want to make sure I'm staying on top of what these competitors are doing. It all starts with traffic and engagement. It's a very similar view to what we saw before in the previous screen. But as you see here, we have device distribution. We have, ranking by country. We have a lot of different metrics we can take a look at as well, not just traffic. And we can also trend this out in a couple of different variations as well, depending on your subscription. So when we were looking at this week over week and month over month, it helped me get it within that snapshot. And I can do the exact same thing here, where I can compare this month over month to see who is getting more of that traffic over time, of course. So we saw that in terms of traffic share, there was a decline, but actually everyone in terms of visitation is seeing a little bit of a lift. Okay, it just tells me right now that Samsung isn't getting the chunk of the pie that they would really want. So old reliable might start to be taking a back seat. So this button here is my favorite one. The reason why I always like to look at this in more of a month over month or week over week view is the platform will do the work for us. It'll help call out those actions for us as well. So as I'm doing my detective work, you're going to see me using that button throughout the platform. So I also will say this too, because even though this is my favorite button in terms of a filter, there's also going to be this little button right here that's going to follow you around. This allows you to add any of these widgets that have the plus button to your dashboard. So I'm going to quickly do this just because, to me, this is a really great screen. I can see that Samsonite, yes, Samsonite's growing in terms of visitation. Everyone else is growing pretty good as well. I'm kind of, falling behind here in terms of how much we're growing. So I'm going to add this as a plus, and I'm going to call it my first dashboard. So I'm going to add this here for us. So you'll see here that there's a way that I can go into the dashboard, of course, but I'm going to start to pick and choose which little widgets I want to have in there so we can show it to you at the very end. I almost think of the dashboards as a live bookmark folder for you. So if there's something that catches your attention, not only will you be able to save it, but you'll be able to click back into that widget and find yourself in familiar territory as well. So it's a really great like little save for later. So, but Caitlin, you're still talking about visits. I thought we were going to talk about marketing channels. Do not worry. This is going to be the next little section we're going to go to. Let me take this period over period off for a moment, though, to talk about the specific channels that we have. So you're going to be followed around with 7 marketing channels. So let me quickly do a little, deep dive into each one of these, especially because we as marketers are master puppeteers. All the ads you see, the retargeting you're followed by, and the content you read all have something influencing you to buy. And here are a lot of the channels that we are able to dissect as we're trying to formulate our marketing strategy. So direct traffic means if they simply went to, let's say, a Samsonite.com or an awaytravel.com, they typed it into their browser and that's it. They also are, so, and they don't go through any other channels. Literally just Samsonite.com, easy peasy. We also have organic search or SEO. And then we have paid search, which is called PPC, which is like pay per click. So it's organic if when you search for something, you don't see the word sponsor on the screen. But if it's paid, it'll say sponsored next to the text ad. And it can be one of those image ads, it can be a text ad. It can even be, it can be anything that's considered sponsored on the screen itself. Referrals are traffic from one website to another, also called affiliate traffic as well. So think about it. If you type in like best luggage and you went to a New York Times and you saw those, like there was like a list of all the best luggage that you see on there and you click on it, that's referral traffic in action. Display ads are those picture ads that you see following you around. So if I clicked on luggage and I'm followed around by that same pink luggage set, that's display. So that's it. I swear, this is something they do as well to try and get you back. It's worked on me a handful of times, and it's a really great way to get a visual in front of in front of the customer. Social is any type of social traffic coming from a browser. So Facebook.com, LinkedIn.com, Instagram.com, any of the .coms. And finally, email. So think of the gmail.coms and the outlook.coms of the world as well. Now, I'm going to just scroll down even further here. Actually, I'm going to click on my favorite button first because, again, I'm looking to see quick insights. So even though Samsonite is seeing a lift in terms of their traffic, what can we potentially do? What can we look at even further to see why we might not be getting the biggest chunk of the pie that we would want to see? Now, I'm using this little section here. Let me click out of here for just a moment. I'm going to look at this growth drivers. This does the math for me. It tells me recently, month over month, what is happening within the marketing channels that I'm focusing on. And as you see here, Samsonite is declining in paid search. There you can see that pretty heavily, not just in terms of traffic, but we also again do the math and show the percentage increases and decreases as well. While there are other channels that might be we could focus on differently, or maybe we're trying to see is there one competitor who's maybe increasing in other channels instead. So I'm looking at the darker green here. I see that base as well as away travel has like a little bit of a darker green, which means they're starting to increase their organic presence. Okay, so maybe we need to take a look at our keywords then. Where Samsonite right now is pulling back on paid. I see some other players are focusing on organic. Okay, well, keywords are still top of mind. We should probably see what new keywords are driving in the market as well. So if we decide that there's a specific marketing channel that we want to dive in deeper, all we have to do is scroll here on the very left and we can say, okay, I care more about referrals. I care more about display. I decide I want to look at social. In this case, I want to focus on search. And we do have a really great overview in terms of the paid and organic traffic. You'll see here, I'm someone who likes to look at colors. If I see red, I want to investigate this even further. I get some spend, I get some ranking data, but I'm going to do something else, guys. I'm taking you to a different area again. And I'm going to go into this last little section down here. So website research is where I said is the bread and butter. But if you want to go one more step further and you want to take a look at your keywords data, which is such an important feature that we have here, make sure you click into keyword research and we're going to explore what other sites are doing in terms of keyword traffic. So by me clicking into keywords, I'm able to actually take a look at the most recent ones, like the most recent competitors I've looked at. Amazing. And now I can see the actual search terms that are getting more of that traffic. Now, shout out to our education team. We have so many pop ups and ways that we can help guide you throughout this process as well. So, in this case, if I want to take a look at organic traffic, and also maybe I'm going to take a look at the non branded terms. So, when they're not calling out a brand, I want to take a look at trending terms out there. I can layer out all of these filters and I can see if there's a specific term that's starting to cause more of that increase over time. Now, I'm calling out travel bag. I don't really type those words when I'm looking for luggage, but this just shows that there could be a term that's low in clicks, but starting to see more of an infancy. And Samsonite doesn't get hardly any traffic for this right now. Base is running away with this term. So suddenly I have a term that I can use, I can deliver, I could potentially optimize as well, and that could be an action. And if I wanted to grab this term and I wanted to save it so I can always like analyze it in the future, I can click on this. I can create a keyword list. I can call it, let's just call it travel bag for a moment. I can grab other terms as well that have the word travel in it if I'd like to, but now I have this saved so I can always revisit it if need be. So this is a really great way that we can find an action almost immediately. So let's do this. Let's have a little finale now. Because also with all these like little layers that I've created, I'm gonna click on this little plus bar as well. I want to add this to my dashboard. I feel like that's a really great way for me to go in and look at this over time. For all my data people out there, if you also decide that you're like, okay, I like these widgets, but I need to download this data. I need to take a look at it over time. I need to see, like, I need to put this in an Excel so I can deliver to my leadership. Of course, we love to show the widgets and we love to be able to, show that within the platform. If you want to download this to Excel, whenever you see this following you around the platform, go ahead, download it, have it at your disposal so you can do your own tinkering offline as well. So let's pop into the dashboard for our last couple minutes that we have, because I've been teasing it the entire time. I've been adding little plus marks here and there. If you click into dashboards, you'll notice I have my very first dashboard here waiting for me. I have website keywords and I have that total visits. It's the exact same view that we had in the previous screens that I showed you, but now it's all in one spot. And I can move these around to make it look pretty. I can click back into total visits if I want to go back to familiar territory. But it's all here for you. And you can subscribe to them just like how we did the homepage. If you want to be able to see this whenever we have our data refresh as well to have the previous month's data. You can download these if you'd like, or even download it as a PowerPoint if you want to be able to show it in more of like a slide format. And you can also export them as well. So again, as a PDF, different ways that we have the data at your disposal. This is a live dashboard, so whenever it goes in and it updates, wow, we are here. It'll be run for you, and you'll be able to go in and get that fresh insight alongside of your homepage as well. So we offer so many ways for you to stay on top of your data. And also, just like how we were talking about at the homepage side, make sure you subscribe to alerts so that you always have it top of mind in your inbox. Whew, man. So remember this slide that I showed you at the very beginning? It had all of our agenda on it as well. We went through all of it today in just 30 minutes. And not only that, but we set up everything in almost the first 30 seconds of our call today as well. We set up the homepage, we analyzed your competitors, we tracked traffic and keywords, we turned on alerts. Wow. And now, as my action item for you, my one ask is to make sure that you configure your homepage because it is so easy to get started as long as we have that configured for you. So I will say this as kind of like our goodbye. 30 minutes goes by so fast, it's crazy. So if you need help, you can always access your help center and tutorials. You can contact our support if need be as well. I will also make sure I shout out our little let's get started section here. I finished it, of course, because I love to check off little boxes, but we have different ways that we can help you out throughout your journey here too. And now that we are at time, I might other ask too, outside of just configuring your homepage, is please stand by while we launch a poll. And if you have any questions, please stay on to so we can answer them for you as well. All right. So for everyone who stayed, thank you so, so much. Make sure you ask those questions in the chat. If you have any as well, we'll stay on for a couple extra minutes, of course. But if I don't hear from you, happy exploring. I hope that Similarweb is everything you'd like it to be. Make sure you have a great, like to start clicking around as well. It's like the way that I was able to learn at the very beginning is just stay curious, navigate, ask questions, and use that knowledge center as well. We have so many resources.